Hi, peoples! Last week, was not a good week for me. This week's not any better. Um, I've actually just got back my voice. I had no voice yesterday. I was worried I wasn't going to be able to do this. It's still very sensitive, so I'll try to keep this short. Okay, so, for the next week, for your tarot reading, I'm using my Animal Divine, tarot deck. And I actually found the companion novel, companion book to it, and it's basically a novel. I don't really use it too much. Rose will be proud of me that way. I mostly use it for the gods and goddesses that I don't know that much about, because they've got pretty good descriptions. And my hair is being nasty. Anyway, so, for the overall for your week is going to be the alligator or the Five of Cups. Basically what the alligator is saying, since it's not right side up, it's mostly internal. This is going to be pretty much internally. You're going to be dealing with a lot of hidden things. Things that are going to be, like the alligator, it's going to be just skimming the surface. You're going to kind of see it, but it's things that you're dealing with internally that are just, maybe you don't see them, or maybe even you don't see them. They're underlying things like still waters run deep is a theme during this week. Obstacles that are going to pop up are not necessarily going to be very outward obstacles. They're not going to show up as being very translucent. They are going to be very inward, very deeply inward, and they're not going to have much of an impact on your outward life at this point, at least not a noticeable or a foreseeable one. But that's what you're going to be dealing with, a lot of internal things that are going to be, you probably can see them, but people that aren't really looking very closely aren't going to see them. So you're going to be doing some very close personal work this week. It's going to be very internalized, and it's just because it's just going to be big for you. Whether or not it's big for someone else, you'll see later on, but at this point it's just going to be pretty much all about you right now, internally. Okay, and so the beginning of your week is the Chameleon, or the Five of Wands. What this basically is about, a lot about confusion and energy being put in many different directions. A lot of disruptive relationships and things like that. And this, as this was right side up, there's going to be external confusion. It's not going to be, your work is going to be on the inside, but there's going to be a lot of external confusion around you that you're going to have to deal with, channel in the correct way, or put in the right direction. You're not going to be necessarily dealing with it at this point, but you're going to maybe put it off for a later time. You're going to be channeling it, going to be putting it in the right direction. Maybe you're going to be delegating a lot of it to other people, maybe saying, okay, I don't have the time for this, or I'm dealing with other things right now. I can't deal with your crap right now, but I do know someone that can. It is either going to be them themselves, or it's going to be someone else that you know, or they know, that they need to go find to fix their issue, that you can't deal with it right now because you've got your own issues you're dealing with this week. You can't deal with other people's shit, really. And I'm cranky, I'm sick, so I'm going to be swearing a lot in this video, so just feel free to be served with that. But yeah, that's what, you're doing a lot of internal work this week. You don't have the energy or the ability or the wants to deal with other people right now. The most you could probably do with them is what I do in my job, is if I don't know the answer, but I know someone who does, I turn them over to someone else. I don't try to find the answer for them. I tell them, you know what? I don't know that answer, and I really don't have the time to. I don't say this to them, of course, because I would be kicked out of my job at that point. I don't really have the time for this. I have other things I need to do that are part of my personal thing. I can't deal with this right now. But I know someone who does deal with this on a regular basis, so I point them in the right direction. I channel them towards the right direction. That's basically what the Chameleon is all about. He's got his eyes can point into several directions. So he can probably use one eye to do a little bit of something else, and he can use his other eye to do other things. But he can only delegate it so much within himself, so he has to find other people to help. So that's basically what the beginning of your week is going to be about. Pretty chaotic, but you're going to be able to channel that chaotic energy correctly. Okay? And the next part of your week, the middle of your week, is the polar bear and the Three of Cups. He's diving deep, and it's an internal card, once again. So once you've dealt with all the channeling of the external powers, you're going to be dealing with a lot of emotional stuff. With yourself. You're going to be diving deep. You're going to be getting deep into your emotions and things like that. You're going to be creating some deep emotions. You're going to take your internal things and you're going to mold them into something good, a container for something. Creating something out of, bringing things together that are probably bringing your two pieces of yourself together or more pieces of yourself together and making them into something new, bigger, better, maybe, just different. They're going to be the same components, but you're bringing them together, and you're going to be doing some deep work internally with yourself this week. And that's what you're going to be doing with the polar bear, because he dives deep to get those cups, and he's diving into the ice. He's breaking the ice, and he's diving deep and getting things done. He's got all the delegation done before in the beginning of the week. He's now diving deep. He's aware of what's going on top of here, but only very thinly. He's very involved deeply in what's going on underwater and what he needs to get done. So that's the middle of your week. That's where your main work is going to happen. At the beginning of the week, you're preparing for it. You're getting things done outside of yourself, so you can dive deep and get these things done. Okay. Excuse me. And so the last part of the week, going into the weekends, you dive deep, and now you found things, you brought things up, and now you're coming back to the surface, and you're the mouse and the Eight of Pentacles. You've dived deep, and you brought things up, you've molded things to where they're supposed to be, and now you're putting them in their correct places. This is a process you're moving through. You've moved through the deep areas of your emotion, and now you're bringing them up to practical areas of your life. So you're organizing things to where they're supposed to be. You've dealt with the chaos. You've dug deep within yourself, and you're bringing it up, and you're bringing it back into the practical world. So, and what's also interesting is that the Five of Wands plus the Three of Cups is the Eight of Pentacles. So you're adding these things together, and you're coming up with a solution or something that's going to come at the end of the week. So the mouse is bringing things together, bringing all his resources together, and bringing them together for the winter. This is what this whole time of year is about. The autumnal equinox was a few weeks ago. It's not a main holiday, but I did a video earlier on this. But this is what this time of year is pretty much all about: is getting all your ducks in a row for the winter. The winter's coming. So that's basically what you're doing. Is you're getting the chaos controlled, digging deep, and what you got down deep within you, and you're bringing it back to the practical world. That's basically what this whole week is going to be about. Hidden things that you're going to be paying attention to, digging deep. That's a big message for this. Is digging deep, underwater, under things, you're dealing with a lot of deep emotions. They could be harsh emotions that you're dealing with. They could be, but they're deep within you. Deep is a pretty big word for this week. You're digging a lot. You're pulling things apart. You're putting things back together in the right places and bringing them back into the practical world and using them practically. So that's basically what this whole week is going to be about. I got a very strong message of that. And also, most of the cards are very singular. They've only got a single subject, where the chameleon has one, the chameleon, and the polar bear is all by himself. But the end of the week, you have a partner. You have a partner in this. Um, you're kind of the mouse is kind of doing his own thing, and he's kind of watching what you're doing, and he's kind of smaller than you. I don't know what the end of what that means, but that's just popping up for me. And he's a lot smaller than you. Maybe you've got someone watching you. You maybe don't even know he's watching, but someone watching you and seeing what you're doing in the practical sense and saying, I'm going to be doing what he's doing soon. It's kind of a teacher-student moment. You may not even be aware that they're watching. I'm kind of getting the feeling that you probably don't even know that this person is watching, but you need to be aware that someone is watching what you're doing. Don't get paranoid about it. Just focus on your internal work and doing things internally, and when you bring them out to the practical world, someone is going to be there watching, and they're going to learn from you. And then maybe they'll be doing some deeper work for themselves, but they're going to be watching you and watching you, kind of like the song, the country music song that this son is watching his father and copying things that his father's doing, and yeah, he's wanting to go up big, strong for him, and he doesn't even realize that he is such an influence on this person, but it's going to be a big deal to this person what this person does with what they're doing right now, and they don't even realize that there's this big influence on this person, and this is like I'm getting the image almost in, I'm not necessarily physically a child, but just a student, a person who is young in the path that you're walking, and I'm getting lots of 12-step. Maybe he's overcoming some very difficult situations, and you're like a person that he looks to, a hero, someone who's been through some of the similar stuff that he's been through, and somehow or other you got through it, and he's going to be watching you. Not in the creepy sense, but just in the sense that he needs a role model right now, and he's going to be watching you, and he's not going to see all the internal work that you've done, but he's going to be seeing the practical side, seeing what you bring out of this, and things like that. And I say he, but it could be a she. He is just kind of the norm for me to say he, because it's just what I say. It could be he, could be a she, but it's going to be definitely someone that is younger than you, either metaphorically or even physically. But I'm seeing more of a metaphorical sense, maybe. A young child that is just looking up to you as their role model. It doesn't even have to be someone that's related to you. It just is someone that is looking up to you at this point. And I just found it interesting that these were all singular, and then suddenly when you bring things into the practical stage, you suddenly get someone that's watching. So maybe you're doing all this stuff by yourself, you're very internalizing your stuff, and you're not aware really of what people are doing around you in a conscious sense, but people are watching when you do things, and they are seeing you as a role model. It could even be, I'm seeing a very singular, maybe one person, but it could be a group of people. It could be a group of people that are just watching you and seeing what you're doing and taking it to heart. So be careful, but don't be paranoid about it. You've got some decent work to do, and you'll get some decent work done this week. So don't be paranoid about people watching, but just be aware of it on just like a underlying sense that you're being a role model to someone or some people. Okay? Alright, well, you guys have a good week, and hope you don't get sick. Have a good week, and thanks for listening to me ramble on. Have a good day and week.